Okay, start.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Today I will be talking about the purpose of a virus. Before we start, let's understand what a virus is. It's an infective agent that typically consists of a nucleic acid molecule in a protein coat. It is too small to be seen by light microscopy and is able to multiply only within the living cells of a host. Now, what is a virus and why does it exist? COVID-19. For this presentation, I'm going to be talking about viruses as a whole, but also focus on the current virus COVID-19. Speaking of COVID-19, all of our lives would have been normal if it weren't for this virus, and everyone hates it. So why does a virus such as COVID-19 exist, and how does it help us? We know that many negative things that occurred in our lives throughout the presence of COVID-19 were quarantining and being unable to see friends and family, and of course, no school for some of us. COVID-19 spread to some of our loved ones and we might have lost them to the virus. And of course, it's an extremely stressful time for everyone. Now that we've talked about all the negative points, let's talk about the benefits. What are benefits we gain from viruses? Some of viruses infecting humans are indeed capable of causing severe and awful lethal diseases, but other viruses can be manipulated to be beneficial to human health. These viruses offer the potential to cure cancer, correct genetic disorders, and fight pathogenical virus infections. Virologists must strive to downplay the bad reputation of viruses and promote a dialogue on many good things that they can do. Benefits we gain from COVID-19. An immunity to the virus once we've gotten the vaccine. We have better precautions and rules set out for if something like this happens again. And we will put much more importance in normalizing distancing and sanitizing people and places around us. Allah's creation of the virus. Looking at the disadvantages and advantages of viruses and whether it brings us harm or aid, we mustn't forget that this is in fact a creation of Allah. Every one of his creations has a purpose, and so is the time he brings it upon us. From my opinion and view of the current situation, Allah has brought COVID-19 as a test upon all of us. However, for some of us, it's also a blessing. If you observe carefully, most of our normal Islamic lifestyle helps us prevent from getting the virus. Doing wudu helps us stay clean on a constant. Maintaining a good distance from people also keeps us safe, and not forgetting prayer. We seek special help from Allah to protect us. And although the two points on may or may not work, Allah's help is guaranteed. Now that we've talked about God's creation of a virus, let's talk about the creation of us. Allah's creation of mankind. Creation of mankind. Allah has not created mankind to eat, drink, and multiply, in which case we would be little animals. Allah has honored mankind and favored them far above many of those whom he has created. But many people insist on disbelief. So they are ignorant and deny the true wisdom behind his creation. And Allah and all they care about is enjoying the pleasures of this world. The life of such people is like of those animals. And indeed, they are even more astray. Allah says, while those who disbelieve and enjoy themselves and eat as cattle eat, the fire will be abode. One of the greatest reasons for which Allah has created mankind is one of the greatest tests in command to affirm his oneness and Tawheed, and to worship him alone with no partner associated. Allah has stated this reason for the creation of mankind. Allah says, and I, Allah, created not the jinn and mankind except that they should worship me alone. And this also proves as to why the day of judgment or resurrection is reality, and that we will all be tested on everything he has told us. May Allah have mercy upon us. Thank you for listening.
माशाल्लाह से आपने बड़ा थॉरोली रिसर्च की हुई थी और बड़ा ज़बरदस्त से आपने एक्सप्लेन किया पर्पस ऑफ ह्यूमन बीइंग्स माशाल्लाह. Okay, now it's Aymen and Anaya's turn.
Assalamualaikum.
एक मिनट अनाया. वालेकुम अस्सलाम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू. ये आपने शुरू नहीं करनी? Okay, now begin. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Thank you so much, Fazia Auntie, for giving us an opportunity to find out, to research and find out if what one thing's purpose is. Our topic today is bees. The table of context. We made a magazine and we're gonna read you a little through it. In the Quran, Allah told us, have they not reflected upon their own being? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only created the heavens and the earth for everything and everything in between for a purpose and an appointed term. Yet most people are truly in denial of the meeting of their Lord with the Lord. In this ayah, there are three major points. Tafakkur. I couldn't find a good English translation to this word, so think of it as critical thinking, evidence, skillful ideas, and stuff like that. Number two, everything has a purpose in life. And number three, the upcoming of Day of Judgment. Let's find out more about bees. For some people, bees are simply an annoyance. They buzz around, crawl inside soda cans, chase people down the street, and sometimes even sting. If you're unlucky enough to be allergic, bees can literally be a lethal threat. Most common benefit of bees is their honey. We all know their delicious honey. Fresh bees honey is used in treatment of eye diseases, throat infections, asthma, hiccups, and so on. Let's see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran. Follow the ways of your Lord and bring forth healing. And your Lord inspired to the bee, take for yourself among the mountains, houses, among the trees, and in that which was which they construct. Then eat from all the fruit and follow the ways of your Lord laid down for you. There emerges from their bellies a drink varying in colors, in which there is healing for people. Indeed, in that is a sign for people who give thought. Now I'm going to clarify what Anaya read to you. Bees can't live with them, but can't live without them either. Let's find out how. Even if you hate bees, you need them. They are responsible for much of the food on your plate. Bees perform a task that is vital to the survival of agriculture, pollination.
In fact, 1/3 of our global food supply is pollinated by bees.
Simply put, bees keep plants and crops alive. Without bees, humans wouldn't have very much to eat.
To put this into context, these are many of the crops pollinated by bees: almonds, apples, apricots, avocados, blueberries, cantaloupes, cashews, and so on. Without bees, these crops would cease to exist, but bees are crucial to our existence as well. Thus, we must work harder to protect and preserve them. Now, let's go back to the ayah Anaya read so we can understand it better. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, "And your Lord inspired to the bee, take for yourself among the mountains, houses, and among the trees, in which that they construct their beehive. Then eat all the fruits and follow the ways of your Lord laid down for you." This part represents pollination. There emerges from their bellies a drink, honey, varying in different colors, in which there is healing for people. Indeed, that is a sign for people who give thought. Five ways bees are important to the environment. Number 5, pollination. To germinate, these plants require the transfer of pollen from the male part of the flower to the female part. As bees move from flower to flower in search of nectar, they leave behind grains of pollen on sticky surfaces, allowing the plants to grow and produce food. Number 4, wild plant growth. Pollination also helps wild plant growth. Number 3, food source. The wild plant growth is a food source for a lot of animals. Number 2, wildlife habitats. Bees are known for their elaborate hives, but they also help build homes for millions of other insects and animals. And number 1, biodiversity. As pollinators, bees play a part in every aspect of the ecosystem.
Bees' lives are in danger, so are ours. Sadly, over the past 15 years, colonies of bees have been disappearing, and the reason remains unknown. Referred to as colony collapse disorder, aka CCD. Billions of honeybees across the world are leaving their hives, never to return. In some regions, up to 90% of bees are disappearing. I prefer you to watch the bee movie because if you've already watched it before, you should watch it again because then you'll understand more and you'll have a different perspective of what you saw. Perfect. What purpose Allah did create us?
I think the purpose why humans are created is to obey and worship Allah. Angels don't have free will to choose to obey Allah, but we do. That doesn't mean we don't worship and obey Allah. This world is like an exam. In this exam, we have to worship and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow our deen. At the end of the exam are the results. The day of judgment is when the exam finishes, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala judges us on how we did in our life. If we pass, we go to Jannah, and if we don't go to Jannah. That is the purpose of humans' existence, to worship and obey Allah.
Thank you so much, Aymen and Anaya. माशाल्लाह से आपने भी बहुत अच्छा सब